Part 2 of romantic romance. We touched a little bit on that here in one of our last episodes. So we're just going to continue on with that here today. Well, let's talk about God romantic love first. Psalms 139:3 says, "You can comprehend my path and my lying down, and you're acquainted with all my ways." He knows everything about me, how I feel, where I live. Beautiful. Psalms 19:1 say that the heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament his handiwork. Again, Romans 5:8 says, God shows his love for us in that while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. This tells me that, when I look at the Creator and what he has done, it makes me feel special to be able to live accordingly, be healthy, and to see his majestic work. I live in Edmonton, Alberta, and I've had the opportunity to drive through the Rockies. When I drive through the Rockies, I see the romantic side of God. As we all know, romance is about how one makes you feel, how one makes you feel appreciated. So when I look at the mountains, it makes me feel special just to think that I am in awe, being able to see his majestic love right before my eyes. I once asked someone that traveled across the Rockies for the first time, "So how did you find it? What did you think?" He says, "It was okay." They never saw the beauty that was right before their eyes, that so many have traveled all over the world just to come and just to drive through that area and just to see how beautiful God's creation is in this place. So when I also look at the beautiful sunset, it reminds me again that the heaven declares his glory. The beautiful flowers and the lilies is a reflection of his love. More importantly, it lets me know that I am appreciated, that I am loved. It's how God is making me feel. You can see where I'm going with all this, right? When I lived in northern Alberta, the skies would light up occasionally, and you would see like a green light cloud seemingly dancing in the skies. It's called the Northern Lights, which they are an atmospheric phenomena that's regarded as the holy grail of sky watching. You can check it out on YouTube, on Google, the Northern Lights. It's a beautiful phenomenon. So when I look at that again, you see the way that God is making me feel. And the way he makes me feel is pushing me to serve him more. It's pushing me to serve him unconditionally. That's what being romantic is all about. When you're being romance, there's nothing that you wouldn't do for the other partner because of how they're making you feel. So romance at any stage of a relationship, what does it do? It's going to help solidify the bond that you have. It reminds you of the uniqueness that you have with your partner, because every marriage, every relationship is unique in its own self. So I listened to a program here briefly from Marriage Matters that's hosted by Yvonne Campbell, her daughter Jody Cush, and the team that they have. And it was about imbalance in a relationship. And my mind was just going all over the place when I heard that imbalance in a relationship, what exactly is taking place. But my thought went to the fact that sometimes it seemed like it's only one that's trying to make this marriage work, while the other party thinks that things will just fall in place. Everything will work out, but as you know, it just doesn't work out like that. And you realize that when you came home one day, you found out that the house is empty. Now, all of a sudden, the bells are going off, but many times it just might be too late. What I'm saying is that you have to be aware of the signals that's right in front of your face. Many times it just can't get any plainer, guys. You see, some relationships that are imbalances, it's like driving a car. Let's take that for an example. When you apply the brakes, the vehicle is drawn to one side. Why? Because one of the front brakes is either likely sticking or it's worn down badly. But you continue to drive because you feel, you know what, as long as I keep my foot off the brake and I'm going forward, everything is all right. So you continue to drive like that for some time, and you get used to the inefficiency. You get used to the abnormality of how the unit is supposed to run. You get used to it, although you know it's not functioning right, and it's actually giving you a warning sign that you need to pay attention to me. Otherwise, it's going to cost you more in the end than it will in the beginning. So after a while, you realize, you know what? The repair could have been minimized, but you failed to act upon the warning that it was given you. A lack of romance will help you to decrease the desire that you should feel for your spouse. Look out for those warning signs, and especially as you navigate through life, especially when life gets so busy. Because statistically, many have said romance, it just makes them feel loved in the beginning. And as time goes on, it should still be 100% important. Couples that are married for a long time feel that romance has gone out of the marriage. Now they don't feel important. They don't feel loved. They don't feel desired. They don't feel uniquely special anymore. The behavior can go on for quite some time. So how do we nip that in the bud? You know what? Say what you want and how you'd like to be loved. Some might say, I never had to tell you that in the beginning, so why are we having this conversation now? Well, just joking now. It's right approach, right approach. Remember, right approach. You come off like that in an attack, and he's going to come back, and he's going to be very defensive and come back in an attack also. But it's romance that will keep the spark alive in your relationship. You can actually narrow it down to what is really happening. So romance is lost, and we feel disconnected. Why is this happening? Well, we both got busy with our lives. You know, we can't just blame it on just one individual. We're in this together. Remember, it's about we, not necessarily at times about me. It's about we, how you're going to make me feel, and vice versa. So we both got busy with our lives. Yes. We gained some unwanted weights. Okay. We took one another for granted. We failed to prioritize. Career and children came into the picture, and I put them first before my wife. All this, it's eroding what was once in place. It's eroding the things that once used to hold you together, that once used to keep you connected. And now we have lost that connection because we've allowed some things to distract us, where the things that should now be important to us, it's not prioritized like it need to be. What is it when you think about your relationship out there, when you think about where you're at, when you think about how you're living, when you think about your job, when you think about how busy that you are? What is the one thing that you have failed to really prioritize? You might have your job, the career, and everything else, but is it at the expense of losing your family? I believe that when you put the family first, everything will just fall in place. Now, mind you, that don't mean we don't put God. God is always first. But then, you know, you put your family. Your family comes first after that. Now, there's different type of love. You have eros, which is a passionate, it's an intimate love. You know, when it's translated, it means like a sexual or romantic love. And, you know, that's where we get our modern day term erotic from. It's a love that you feel, and it can lead to passion, but you are attracted to the person, and, you know, you just notice their beauty. It's a love that you need to keep alive, that passion, that intimate love. It's one that you need to keep alive. It's what's keeping that house, that love house, so to speak, together. Then you have filial love, which is a friendly or a brotherly love. It's that love that's felt between close friends and your community. You know, you could say it's a love without romantic attraction, but it occurs, you know, between friends or families. Friendly, brotherly love, filial love. You need that also in the relationship. You know, my wife is my best friend. You know, what's your wife to you? Is she your best friend? How about your husband? Is he your best friend? Well, in the beginning, they were your best friend. What has come to erode that friendship when now you can't say what you need to say because of hurting the other party. You can't say what you need to say because you haven't been in the right place. You haven't been functioning as the husband that you need to function in. You haven't been functioning possibly maybe as a wife, as how you would need to function in your God given ability. And then we go to storage. Love, which is a familiar love. It's an affectionate love. It's a love that you also have for your family. It's just a natural love. It's a common manifestation, of love that we know. It's an emotional love because it's deeply rooted, traits where you share that love. You need to have that storage, that love in your relationship. And now we come to what we call agape love. It's one that is an unconditional love. It's the highest form of love. Unconditional love. We all try to get to that place. And I imagine when we first met and when we said our vows, it wasn't unconditional vow, if you please. You said, until death do us part. You're basically saying that no matter what happens after this, I'm going to love you unconditionally. And sometimes, it's so hard to love unconditionally because how the other party is acting. They're acting so stupid. Why are they acting like this? Why are they treating me like this? And now you're telling me I've got to love them unconditionally. Well, that's going to be between you and God and not me, you and God. But it's a love, that agape love. It's a love that we strive for on a daily basis. You already know sometimes the husbands and wives, like we said, we will get on one another's nerves, but at the end of the day, we've got to have each other. We're talking about romance, folks. The different type of love. There's a poem that I read here by Dana, I believe her name is Dana Squirt. And it's about how she loved her best friend, and it really spoke to me as I began to read it, and how many can be able to say even some of these words that, if I thought for one moment that this would be my last breath, I would tell you that I would love you forever, even after death. If I thought for just one moment that now would be the last time I heard your voice, I would have told you that I loved you. I would have listened more attentively. I'd embrace you and I would make it feel real just for the moment. But you know what? At the end of the day, we have to thank God for allowing us to meet. We have to thank God for allowing us to be able to have this gift. Your wife, ladies and gentlemen, men, your wife is a gift to you. Wives, your husband is a gift to you. And how you treat that gift is going to determine how love is going to show up in your relationship. As time goes on, and like we said, romance can sometimes fall by the wayside, but you can incorporate back into your relationship. Many times, you see a husband and a wife working, maybe walking in a mall or whatever. And I've seen it's where the wife is grabbing the husband's hand. And, it's a hint to the husband or to that man, that partner that I want to feel connected to you. This makes me feel like you're here. And so going back to holding hand, no matter how old that you get. And, in my some time back, it was my wife that was always reaching out to my hand. But now when I'm walking out in public at times and in the mall at times, I now will end up holding her hand rather than me letting her, like she did in the past, reach out to hold my hand. I want to be the first now to hold her hand. What am I saying is that I want to keep you close. Even while we're walking here in the mall or on the streets, I want to let you know that you still feel important to me. So there's different type of handholds. You can have a passive handholds, the one finger handhold, the two handhold, the massaging handhold, the handhold where you hold that hand and you kiss her. But as a man, you shouldn't have to try so hard to bring that relationship. You just need to show up. Men, you need to just show up every day as the husband that God wants you to be. Wives, you just need to show up every day as the wife that God wants you to be every day. So you may as well embrace this idea that love and romance, it's going to take a bit of effort. It's going to be something that we wake up on a daily basis and, even thinking, so how can I show love to my spouse today? How can they see that today that they are important to me? And so if you find out that after a while things are just depleting, that things are just getting boring, then it's time to step it up and put some things in play. And you know what? There's games out there that you can play for couples. There's balloon games for couples. There's card games for couples. There's question games for couples. There's romantic games. There's just fun games out there for couples. When was the last time you had just a game, just you and her, just by connecting together, asking each other even questions that you normally would have never even asked before? The questions that you might not never even ask when you were even dating, but having these games and these question games and whatever, it's just going to make her and going to make you feel special. So for those of you out there, especially your wives, if you can't get his attention, then try this little suggestion. Write him a letter. Tell him exactly how you feel and what you feel is missing for you. Yes, ladies, he's just not getting it. So write him a letter. Now, the letter don't start off accusingly. The letter don't start off criticizingly. The letter don't come off with a whole bunch of judgment and just fiery words at him. You'll just push him off the page. But you know what? Start out by just telling him and appreciating him for maybe the things that you have seen him done. Write him and let him know that, those things that he wants you to do, how it makes you feel. But maybe you're not just feeling that anymore. It's been a long time that you have been feeling that way. And so by him reading that letter, I know what you're going to say. I've told him 100 times and he just doesn't listen and whatever and so forth and so forth. Well, you know what? Give him the letter. You can even mail it to him if you wish. Put it in his lunch bag. Put it on the table. Put it in the glove box or wherever you want to put it, that he can actually see it so he can read it, because it could be possibly that now he might recognize how you are really feeling and how important this thing really is to you. So, ladies and gentlemen, romance. I know this is a bit short today, but romance. Don't let it die. It is important. It is a way of solidifying and connecting you together like you once had in the relationship. So for those of you out there that you feel that, things are slipping, things are not the way it used to be, but you want to get that love back again. You want to get that connection back again. Well, you can connect with me at tlcbonittogrange.com. We will help you get back on that path. We will journey along with you so you can feel connected again, because something has fallen by the wayside. The husband wants to feel loved again. The wife wants to feel love again. We want to be attracted to each other again. So this is what I do. I help couples connect back. I help couples that was once struggling can now go back to cuddling. Those that was once feeling like they're not loved to start to feel back in love again. Those that are not feeling love, they just feel like friends and just feel like roommates. Love and romance can come back again But at the end of the day, you have to want to make it work. You have to want to say, this is what I want. Otherwise, nothing happens unless you want to. You've got to have a want to if you want to keep the romance in your life. You've got to have a want to if you want to just keep that love going. You got to have a want to if you want to keep things excited in your life. You've got to have a want to. Nobody should be forcing you. Nobody should be telling you that this is what you need to do as a man, or this is what you need to do as a wife. At the end of the day, we both want to feel loved. We want to feel appreciated. We want to feel desired.